Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy noticed this piece in the Washington Examiner yesterday. Why my small business needs tax reform. It's good to hear from job creators and wealth producers in this country, not just from politicians, on the importance of structural tax reform that has been much talked about but not yet presented, at least in legislative form. My family business, Patrium Aluminum Products, based in Louisa, Virginia, is the only American-owned and operated family business producing the full lines of aluminum and stainless electrical conduit products. We started operations in 2010. We employ 62 employees, which will grow to 75 by the end of the year. Well, I mean, if things are going so good for Tom Click, why does he need tax relief? Why don't we ask him? Tom Click, the CEO of Patrium Aluminum Products in Virginia, joins us now. Tom, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
What prompted you to pen this op-ed that you did and give us the thesis in terms of your argument for tax relief for entrepreneurial capitalists like yourself?
Well, my wife and I started Patriot back in 2010, so I've seen firsthand how businesses can grow and the impact that the taxes have on the cash flow of the businesses. And even though I've got an MBA, it actually was kind of a wake-up call to me. I mean, most people don't realize that small businesses, especially ones that create inventory, since we're a factory, we build inventory every day. Much of the cash is tied up in growth and in that inventory, but we still get taxed upon any kind of net income that we have, regardless of whether there's the cash there to support it or not. For the last 3 years, I went to Congress as part of our association group, the National Association of Electrical Distributors, who I sell through electrical distributors. And I can tell you firsthand that most of our representatives really don't understand how businesses work, how taxation works, and it really does slow down the business. When they have to take cash out of the business to pay a tax bill instead of reinvesting in growing the company, it just slows us down.
So if you can make a wish list for tax reform, especially for small businesses, what would be at the top of your list?
Expensing. We've been able to use the Section 179 deduction to add inventory, machinery and equipment, and continue to grow the business. When I started in 2010, I literally bought one machine off eBay that cost me $5,000 and used that to build the business model. After that, I cashed in a big chunk of my 401k, got a loan from the bank, and was able to buy my first automated piece of equipment. And now we've got approximately $3 million worth of machinery here, much more advanced than that initial machine. And Section 179 was great. It helps you take the advanced depreciation and knock out part of the taxation that you're going to have as you grow profits. But if we could expense it, the entire amount of the equipment, I think it would just spawn a boon of new investment in America.
As somebody who's politically active, in addition to running your business, as you were talking about the number of times you testified before Congress, what's the most frustrating thing to you about the debate on tax reform and some of the more esoteric policies like you're talking about, but that have real impact in terms of the ability to create jobs and grow businesses?
The lack of good information and communication. We need to get away from partisan politics and really talk about policies and educate the American consumers, the American voters, on the true impact of what these policies drive.
Well, and by the way, we're here in Chicago, so we're at ground zero for horrific policy when it comes to the state and local level for some of the topics we're covering from a federal perspective. And it seems to me one of the things that people have to understand, too, is that money goes where it's treated the best. Labor goes where it's treated the best. Entrepreneurial capitalists go where they're treated the best. And that's not just limited to state competition. In the digital world in which we live in the 21st century, that's global. And that's not necessarily being a proponent of globalism or being anti-American. It's about doing what businesses do, trying to maximize profits to grow.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're located here in Virginia. My wife and I actually spent 6 years in Chicago and love that town. But Virginia has some nice benefits to businesses, make it easier for us to start up here. Low tax base, low tax on equipment, and I actually am the vice chair of the Go Virginia Regional Council for Growth and Opportunity, and we're trying to attract and grow more businesses to the Central Virginia area.
Do you think you'd be able to survive if your company was based in Illinois?
It's a move to Virginia.
Oh, I think we'd find a way to make it go, but it's definitely much easier here in Virginia.
All right. So on Tuesday, Speaker Paul Ryan delivered a speech at the National Association of Manufacturers, and he talked about the elimination of the death tax. What would that mean for you?
It would give me a lot more peace of mind. As you build a business and build wealth and build something that the value isn't restricted just to the family that owns it. The wealth creation in a business extends to those 62 families that we support right now through employment. And I think taxing the death of the principal shareholder for no good reason, all it's going to do is create strain on the business. There's a lot of small family businesses. Family farms really get hit by the estate tax. But any business that has been around for a few years and been successful, to have to sell off part of the business to pay a tax bill is it's just ridiculous. It doesn't add any value, and all it's going to do is strain the people that were part of building it. It goes way beyond that individual family. And I can tell you that for Patriot, we've only got 60 employees, but we're much more like a work family. And these guys know me. And I know them, and it's much more important than that. But a 40% tax bill, again, on an inventory-based business, it's just ridiculous.
In the op-ed you wrote in the Washington Examiner, you mentioned that you utilize 13 automated CNC machines, and one of the other topics of conversation, this certainly in Illinois, which still is a manufacturing center, is the ability to get qualified labor, that there are actually a lot of job openings in small to mid-sized manufacturers in the Midwest here, but around the country. And it's been real difficult for a lot of these employers who are doing okay to find qualified labor, even labor they're willing to train on the machinery, the equipment, but to find young people who want to go into manufacturing, despite the fact that they're pretty good salaries.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of that. I hear that complaint a lot, but for some reason, Patriot has been very lucky on the labor front. We do home grow our own people. We don't hire based on a pedigree. We look for people that have a good work ethic, that show up on time, that want to build something. I think the work environment that we create, since, again, it's a work family, we kind of pull these guys together. The veterans out on the U.S. military veterans that are out on the factory floor, really do a good job of bringing up some of the younger guys. And we've got, I think we've 6 or 7 guys in the CNC department right now. With one exception, they were all homegrown. But we're continuing to develop that.
But on this topic, then, President Trump's discussion about vocational education and training people go into the industrial arts, that's got to be something that you're supportive of as well. And
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. In Virginia, we're pushing along that way as well. There's several counties in our Go Virginia district that have some initiatives to do VOTEC training. We've got some VOTEC schools here, and even in Charlottesville with the University of Virginia, we still have some VOTEC schools. It's an essential skill. It's a great job path if you wanted to be a CNC machinist, programmer, even just a machine operator. There's going to be a growing need for that. As more manufacturing comes back to America from China, I think we need these highly technical, skilled men and women to be able to run the equipment. We run those 13 machines 3 shifts. We only have staff here for 2 shifts. So we've designed our programming to allow a third shift completely lights out. And we just continue to see that grow. We've got 13 Haas machines right now. They're all manufactured in the USA, by the way. We have 2 more on order, and another machine by a company called Mazak, which manufactures in Florence, Kentucky. So we're very committed to not only American manufacturing, but also supporting American manufacturing here in the U.S.
He is Tom Click, the president and CEO of Patriot Aluminum in Louisa, Virginia. The op-ed in the Washington Examiner, you should check out, Why My Small Business Needs Tax Reform. Tom, thanks for joining us and continued success. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.